Don't worry, Nausicaä, you'll be avenged. Okay, if you saw my last video, you know about Warriors of the Wind, or at least the fact that in 1985, New World Pictures got the rights to Nausicaä, but unfortunately, they removed a total of 30 minutes of the film, as well as made it so pretty much the film could not be released for a total of 20 years. Partly because Miyazaki was pissed off, that's the best phrase I could use for it, because they removed it, and it made it so he was very strict when it came to his movies making it over to the other side. So, the thing is, I was kind of hoping I would never be able to see this, because the VHS is pretty much the only way you can find this version. But thanks to the goodness that is the internet, I was able to pull up a link and was able to see the entire Warriors of the Wind dub. And boy, is this one gonna be fun. In a similar way to my last video, I will not be using footage primarily because I don't want to get into a copyright debate with Studio Ghibli because they are really strict when it comes to that thing. However, if you do want to see the film, I will link the link I found to it in the description, but I would rather you just watch like this. Just watch the normal one. Why are you gonna waste your time with a crappy dub? I'm being hypocritical, because that's exactly what I did. First things first, if there's anything you really need to know about the story, it's the same as Nausicaä. It's pretty much just the same movie with 30 minutes removed. And I bet you're thinking that the 30 minutes removed is probably for some, like, essential reason. It could be because, at the time, Nausicaä was PG, but it was pretty much before the PG-13 rating came out, and it could be because the violence in the film is a little more hardcore for kids. They were pretty much marketing Warriors of the Wind to kids, so you'd suspect that the violence would be the thing they would tone down, even though the violence is used in a Hunger Games kind of way to sort of signify, the dangers of warfare. But no. In fact, all the scenes that are removed are pretty much essential to the themes and characters of the film. They removed it because it was, quote, slow moving. They pretty much removed anything that makes a movie good. How is that even humanly possible? A good example of what I'm talking about is there's a scene, spoiler alert, I tried to avoid spoilers for Nausicaä. There's a scene in the original film that basically there's this big garden scene where this garden has all these toxic plants, but Nausicaä figures out that with pure soil, these plants are not poisonous. And this is a great scene for her character because earlier on, her father dies as well as she kills like 20 soldiers in like an act of rage. And she basically, in this scene, is able to overcome the trauma and the anger and everything going on. It's a very important character scene. In Warriors of the Wind.
What? Hold up! Hold up! Did you just remove the garden scene? I think they removed the garden scene.
And it is completely sidelined and pretty much just cuts the whole scene. And this isn't even just one of them. They cut, for example, the title sequence that like shows a nice tapestry that establishes kind of the prophecy a bit. They removed a few key shots here and there. They pretty much removed my all-time favorite scene in the film, which is pretty much just her sitting in the jungle doing nothing. But like that, I'm not gonna get into that. They also removed a big spoilery scene, or at least a segment of it, in the sense that the big theme of the film is kind of this sort of duality with nature, that nature is neither good nor bad, and similarly are humans, but they can live in a balance, both groups. But the scene in question is supposed to establish this big twist involving the toxic jungle. Unfortunately, they decide not to talk about it and just put a voiceover about, like, world peace or whatever, but, like, it's the typical let's stop fighting kind of dialogue.
And then he tries to shoot me down. But in the end, can give birth to a new life.
I just can't get over this. Whoa.
And also, they removed an entire scene of character development after that. And this isn't even one of them. As I said, I'm pointing several of the different scenes out. As a result, the best way I can describe it was I got bored really fast watching Warriors of the Wind. And I have seen Nausicaä, the Valley of the Wind, more times than I care to count, and I'm still able to be engaged in the story. But because those scenes were removed, it causes the film to slow down and not be as impactful, if that makes any sense.
First, this was fun, and then I got bored.
Sometimes people are that way.
Like studios that want to ruin great movies.
Also, they changed the character names for some reason. So they renamed Nausicaä Xandra.
Sandra asked him.
Wait, who's Zandra? Who's Zandra?
Come on, boys.
You haven't answered who Zandra is.
Hedgite, like a nation in the film, is renamed Placenta or Placida or whatever. They do it with pretty much everything. And you'd think perhaps the voice cast would help. The voice cast does not help at all. The voice cast is the worst part of the movie. I swear, whoever they got for, like, Zandra, it's very clear that she's, like...
Actually, I kind of am okay with
The
them.
shell of a giant gorgon.
It's very clear that it's a woman in the sense that it has a deeper tone of voice. Like, Nausicaä is supposed to be a teenager, and, like, to be fair, Alison Lohman, who plays her in the English dub that Disney did, is not a teenager, but she still had the voice. This lady is very clearly older than that. I'm not saying that as she did a bad job. It's just, it does not fit at all. It basically separates you from the rest of the movie, and that's pretty much the most of the cast. And that's the whole movie. That is really the whole movie. The only thing I kept thinking to myself watching it was, I'm watching the same movie, but I'm not. I don't know how I'm not. That was the whole thing that was going through my head while watching it. And there's a deep danger in that, because when that happens, you lose so much of what made the original so good. And, like, as I said, it's a shame because I love Nausicaä. It is my all-time favorite film. I said that last night. I've said it constantly to everyone for the last 4 years. And so Warriors of the Wind just was a dumb idea to begin with, if that makes any sense. I do give it credit in the sense that there were a lot of people who were introduced to Miyazaki through Warriors of the Wind, and so some people actually have a soft spot for Warriors of the Wind in the sense that it introduced them to Miyazaki, and for all we know, kind of may have impacted animation as we know it. But it kind of deserves to be forgotten, if that makes any sense, but also kind of remembered as a cautionary tale of kind of the danger of what happens with most bad movies. It's not the fact that the movie itself was originally bad, it's the fact that everything that could have made it good was gone to begin with. I do not blame the creators, by the way. I'm not going to go on some hate speech against New World Pictures, because, let's be honest, that company's bankrupt, and for all we know, nobody really cares. And I legit don't care. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I get it. It was a weirder format. usually don't see me do like these face-to-face reviews anymore, but well, I kind of wanted to do it mainly to showcase my set. Yeah, yes, these are Return of the Man with Red Eyes posters and a bunch of really crazy stuff. I don't even know I'm showcasing all this. I just wanted to show you the new set. Looks great, doesn't it? So yeah, there you go. I don't know what to do. I did see Dragons 3 like last week, so if you want a review of that, I can do that. I'm pretty much gonna finish up a bunch of other editing things I need to do. And I'm just gonna spend my spring break doing stuff, so yeah. See y'all.
I swear, can they keep the kill him and you'll be famous line? I will change my whole mind on this movie if they do. Please keep the kill him and you'll be famous line.
That's Lord Yuppa! Kill him and you'll be famous!
Yeah!